Hi, guys. I hope you had a great weekend. Been very excited about what we've achieved over the last few weeks. Thank you very much. I have spent quite a long time, in fact, an awful long time, making this list. This is a developer instructions list for the whole of May and June. And as we can see, there's quite a lot on here, 40 different items. In fact, if we look at the full list, there's actually a few more that need to be done. Okay, so they're all related, obviously, to Villa Secrets website and systems. And we're carrying on from where we left off last week, and we're going to be following this schedule. And we've seen this before. This is the Villa Secrets to-do list calendar. Here's my tasks. And you see I've been keeping it up for a couple of weeks here. And I'm redoing it every day. So whatever we see here right now is likely to change. In fact, I'm sure it will change as other things become a priority. But this does give us a roadmap to where we want to get to. And if we reassess this roadmap every day, we realize what our goals are, then I think we can all accomplish this. So I'm going to go through the list first and then quickly go over where everything fits into the schedule. I'm going to go over this quickly because I'm going to give you the document to read through. And you can see I've put timings here. V is Vineeth, 1 hour. P is Piyush, and N is Nick. And in general, I'm hoping that the times that I've put, we can do it quicker. And that allows us to do a few things as projects at the same time. For instance, it looks like next week we're going to be approaching the real estate agents. And for that approach, we need the non-new style villas made in the old CMS or taken from Razor. We need that page looking good on laptop and in mobile. So that's going to be our sort of pet project that we're doing whenever we've accomplished our goals here. Say, for instance, see we've got 2 hours here to fix the header on the layer slider, and that's probably only going to take 20 minutes. So there's, 2 hours left over. And in those leftover hours, we'll try and get some more done. Or if one doesn't have a task, one can just pick. It would be useful to know if there's anything on here that seems like it might take longer, or particularly it would take less time. So if there's anything in here that sticks out, but don't really sweat around it too much. We've all got work to do. I can't be looking at lists all of our lives. Okay, so I've grouped them. We got 4 items here at the beginning, and these are just little things that need to be done. Then we've got the my list. We've got four items there. Then we've got my web page, my list, etc., etc. So each has its own category. And we have this short list here. And then after the short list is the full list, and the full list contains various instructions. Of course, I'll be giving videos on a daily basis explaining the exact task for tomorrow. This list is just to give a rough idea of what each task is. So I'm going to start from the full list, not the highlights list. Okay, let me think about this. Fix header on layer slider. Okay, well that's simple enough. On on the villas pages and on the articles pages, the layer slider text is not being taken from the header text that it corresponds to. I'm not going to go into this much detail actually because it'll take far too long. I will go into detail if requested or if it's a project for the next day. Okay, change transitions on the homepage. I think that's a quick task for myself and Piyush. A little bit of work for Vineeth. It's simple. The blue stripe needs to be a little bit less high and needs to be opaque. Now, this is an important one. Adjust the mobile order of the magazine layout pages. All the magazine layout pages are not coming out correctly. They're coming out picture, picture, text, text, picture, picture, text, text, when it should be picture, text, picture, text, picture, text. It's the same problem we had when we did it in WordPress. We just need to change that order when it snaps into mobile mode. Okay, so now for my list, change or remove the prices. Yeah, when I'm creating a my list for a salesperson, they're going to want the power to change the prices. And all we need there is just a little option to add a new price or to say minus 20%, you know, just an option. Make the headers editable. We want the headers editable the same way the text is editable on our homepage CMS. Complete the add.comments. Well, we worked on this on Friday. We need to be able to write comments. The list links need to be working. I'm not actually sure what that is. I'd have to refer to my other notes. List links. I'm not going to get into it. Can write back and forwards. So the client puts a comment, then I can put a comment, and the client puts a comment. Important. This is the first of a few times we need to make the web page transferable. So if you add a comment, I can then go online and see that comment and reply. I think this is easy as comments are stored in the database, but later we will have a harder version of this task. This sort of gets us moving a little bit into how we're going to work out the best way to get these websites, web pages made for people, let them add to them, and let me re-see their work without my my cookies affecting their page until I make a dedicated change. But as I said, we're easing ourselves into this. Okay, up and down buttons need to be working. Okay, next is the My Web page. Make this email system work. Yeah, well, that's simple enough. The quick autofill buttons, need to make them all work. And I want various options. We need to create the option to change the text to different texts if the button is clicked twice or 3 times or more. We need a CMS page to edit the different texts. And the hard one, we need this to send email via MailChimp or other method. And to make it harder, we also will need that to be able to say I'm sending using the system. It needs to be sent from my email address, i.e. nick@villasecrets.com. Whereas if Vineeth, you were sending somebody one, it would need to come from Vineeth@villasecrets. So that's a slight a point of, needs to be figured out exactly how we do that. And I know we're all a little bit weak at email, but, that's only because we haven't studied it. So I've given a good 8 hours there for working it out. We need all the emails recorded on a separate page. That's just a basic function, albeit I'll be making the layout. Piyush needs to put the layout into. In fact, just a general note, everything anybody ever does on these pages that we're making now needs to be recorded somewhere. a complete list, and you know, broken down into different clients, etc., etc. Okay, next, add articles to list. Okay, and this is the functionality to add articles to our lists. And we did this in a quick way. And Vanith, I remember you telling me you've done it in a quick way, but you do need to go back and do it in the correct way. And we've made allocations. I think I've actually put it in as one of the first things. Yeah, there we go. It's in there. And that's not a 2-hour gap. There should be 1.5 hours left over from the early morning, for my early morning, and this is just working with Piyush. So that's actually, you know, I've given you a good 4 hours to work on that, which I hope is enough time. Okay, so let's just have a look at the specifics. Add portrait photos option to the article CMS. I want to be able to bring in the portrait photos. That may actually entail us having to add portrait photos to it. Okay. B, make bespoke article page option. Okay, that's what I was trying to do the other day, and I had an awful lot of trouble when I put the pictures in over the IDs. The IDs would come back, and I think we need, you know, we need to make a definite plan to make a page that we can just add things to easily, be it straight from the desktop and written in to adding a villa, but it's not dependent on there being an ID there. Okay, C, add quick image loader. D, add options to control and show portraits. That's the portrait photographs. Add article image option, landscape and portrait. Add article image option, landscape and portrait. I'm not 100% certain about that, but it'll be in my notes. It's okay. And number F, other items. Other stuff I want to do on this. And of course, it doesn't seem to be written down here, but yes, Vanith, you do need to program that correctly in the first way. I remember you said you needed to program it in a different way so as we can add articles to the list. Okay, update article CMS slider. That's a simple case of the CMS isn't looking as good as the actual on page and needs to be updated. Okay, number 12, remake article IDs in my list. Okay, now this is what I've been talking about. Here's that make the article IDs in the correct way. Okay, number 13, make a system to send my web page as an email. Right, okay, now this one I've allotted 16 hours for you to do this. This is a case of, let's actually go to it. Let's see my list page as a magazine view. And we want to be able to send this as an email. So the email picks up this content. In fact, the email picks up all the content and presents it much in the same way we would present on a mobile, because that's all the width you're really allowed in an email. You're not allowed much more than 800 pixels wide, if that, maybe only 600 pixels wide. But yeah, so we need to get this content, turn it into an email. Of course, it can be done. This is how people do newsletters. So I'm sure MailChimp can be worked out. So we need to be able to have the option to not only send a link, but send the link to the client's My List, and also send all the stuff on this page. And this is very important because we don't want to be just sending a link and a quick introduction. We want to be sending proper emails with all of the data. And this really will become an amazing thing for salespeople. They'll absolutely love using this system. And, you know, that's the idea. It becomes invaluable. Okay, let's keep a simple record of every URL created. Again, coming back to this, we need to keep records of all the stuff that's going on. Okay, new URL. Edit my list. Yeah, just got a number 15. List the name. We've got to put the name of the list on that page. I'd like to get rid of this .php. I don't want .php on anything, to be honest with you. I want it nice and simple. My list, not .php. Okay, the pink hearts from the favorite system, I want that working. Let's just have a quick look at that. In fact, we should look at it not here because it's not working here. When I click this little heart, oh, it is working. Oh, okay, cool. Let me just make sure the functionality is 100%. And what that means is when I add something to it, it should come after the pink heart. So let's go and add something. I wish I'd known this earlier. I'd have put it in the video I made. It really does. It's very useful functionality. Now, why is this not working? Okay. Now, when I add a new villa or Safari, these should not be in front of the pink hearts, and they're not. Brilliant. 1, 2, 3. But just want to get it out, and that is that when we add to the beginning of the list, so it can throw out the list, and that's why these pink hearts are essential. So as the actual ones the client is really interested in stay at the front, and the others fall behind. And we probably need a way to indicate that they are pink hearts in here, and we'll work that out. In fact, this is something that's not on this list, but I will just mention it. I am thinking of adding the villa name above this when it's a villa, because I think that we need that. And I'm also thinking of changing the order so as it's all picture to the right and text to the left. Or alternatively, the other way around. I think in terms of a list being sent by a salesperson, this would be the best way to go. Not for the clients to make their own list, but when a salesperson sends, I think we might need to go this way. But don't worry about it for now. It's certainly not anything we need to sweat about. Okay. Yeah, on this page, that edit, organize my lists, show more details. Now, these aren't working. This should scroll through the first 8 pictures. And I'm thinking of certainly getting rid of this bottom line, and maybe getting rid of these attributes as well, and just showing this little section here. I'm not sure. We'll get into that later, but for now we need these to work. Okay. Enough about the. And these at the bottom, I'm definitely going to get rid of these because they, we don't need it. I might just change it for a book now button. Yeah, that would be quite nice. Okay. Okay, new section, my page lists. Change URL from my page lists. I think it's .php to my pages and lists. Let me make my final decision. My pages and lists. Yeah, I like it like that is. You can read it easily enough. Yeah, so that's my pages dash and dash lists cap on M, P, and L. Okay, get this page working. Okay, what does this mean? Okay, this is the my page list. We've seen this before, and I've just added it. So I'm not going to really go through it because we already know what all this is about. Okay, 20, record all events. You've heard me mention this a couple of times. Going to be making a system so as all the events are recorded, so as we can capture clients' email addresses when they make their pages, and we can capture their clients' friends' email addresses when they send them to their friends, and all sorts of other things, and capture as much information so as it is available with the inquiry. So we've got the inquiry information, but we've also got what lists they've made, what villas they've added, what they've taken away, what they said to friends, what they haven't said to friends, etc., etc. And you know, as much analytics data as we can, ideally working out, obviously not within this type of hours, but we like to see a track record of every website the client has come to us from, which we can do. I.e., if someone's come to us from YouTube and then someone comes to us from AdWords and then someone comes back to us from something else, it lets us know all of that. But we're not worrying about that in this 2 months worth of work that we're looking at. Okay, my group, make the my group function. And we're going to get into this. I'm going to go through it. I want to create a list for a client with their name. So, for instance, Villa Secrets / Lee Shazen. I send Lee the link. When Lee follows the link, this becomes his list, or at least a list that they can edit. Consider, how do we get Lee's own list to become the primary list? We can make this automatic. Can we make this automatic? Or will he need to press a button, own this list, at the top of the page? And when it's clicked, this becomes his primary list and is added to my list and pages. You see, that I'm not understanding it 100%, but Vanith, I'm sure you can work this out. This is the second stage. We've sort of looked at this earlier very briefly. Or if you can think of another way. Eventually, we want to make these lists password protected, but for now, it's better not to. Once Lee has taken over the list, he should have all the functions that I have and can add villas to it from the website. He can make new lists such as Lee Shazen loves this function, and all the things I can do. Once Lee has taken ownership of the list, he can add comments and I can reply to his comments. Again, on the cookies back and forth vibe, see in comments for copy for other, see in comments for copy for other sections. One thing we need to be careful of is if Lee changes the list, when I go back online, I do not reset the cookie setting. What we want is to be able to do, what we want to be able to do is to go back and forwards, and I can edit the list or delete it, and so can Lee. So we are together refining the list into the perfect selection. Imagine a husband or wife or rentals agent and client both working on the same list, making small changes and eventually coming to a decision about what property to book. So it's that back and forth thing we need to get working. I have made a graphic for the page. Ask if you don't have it. I don't know what that's about, but I'm going to move on because I don't want to make this video hours long. Okay, my magazine, add new CMS villas to magazine. This is the point that we're going to actually have to pick up. Um, we're going to have to work on this one sooner rather than later. We need to be able to add the... that should be old, I think. Oh, no. Sorry. Completely wrong. In our magazine, I want whenever a new villa is made in the new CMS, I want it added. I want to be able to make individual magazines. So there's the magazine, and we'll put a little option somewhere, so as I can swap it. So as I'm not seeing the magazine, I'm seeing my own magazine. That's so as each of the well, for me, if I want to have a list of options that I know I'm going to want to attach to my list to clients, if I know I want to attach, I'll make like a list of my 10 favorite articles, which means I don't have to go searching through the whole magazine for articles. I just go to my personal articles. For the agent, it's good because the agent can show their magazine to a client, and the client's going to think more of them for having their own magazine. Okay, magazine index page. I've got to make it a different version of the page showing everything in a list order. And I want a version as well, just the same as our search results list. So we want one version with the articles looking like this. Obviously, a little adaptation to show the text. Okay, add mag to homepage and homepage CMS. Okay, yep. Then now, in the same way that we had the WordPress had the function to add the blog to the homepage, we want the function to add our magazine pages. As soon as a new magazine page is made, it's going to add to our homepage. And I'm thinking of just having 2 lines like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, showing the last 6 magazine articles written. Simple enough. I know we've already put this on the homepage. We need to do that again. And we need to make a CMS. We need to add that to the CMS. Not in just options, i.e., in fact, no, we need to go one level deeper. For each magazine page, we need to assign it certain properties so as it can, if I want only Camps Bay properties on the Camps Bay homepage, we need that functionality. Okay. Turn magazine article into a newsletter, very important. Big part of this plan, and we're going to be looking at this tomorrow. See here, number 5, newsletters. Okay, inquiry and contact. We need the contact us page on both mobile and desktop. We need the inquiry system working. I've given it 20 hours for you, Vineeth. Obviously, if you can get it done in a day, that's great, because, that gives us 12 hours that we can do for something else. Okay, contact page, we know about that. Sliders. Yes, okay, we need to make this homepage slider an option where we've got the 1, 2, and then the 1, 2, 3 things coming in, and another option that'll be very similar to, I think it's experience. No, it's. In fact, don't worry about it. We'll get back to this. Okay, mobile fixes to Villa Secrets Mobile. I haven't had a good look at it, but I know we didn't really. We got a certain amount of the way. We haven't done everything. I put there 12 hours, Piyush, and 8 hours backed up, Vineeth. Okay, analytics. We need. I wouldn't mind adding the Google code to the blog pages and some other websites. Okay, old villa web pages. This now has become a big priority. We don't have to get it complete by the end of this week, but we do have to get it complete by the end of next week. I'm going to make a new design for the top. We probably need a different slider for desktop, and that's what's going to take a while. So I'm gonna try and fit all of this in. Oops. Uh-oh, what's happened? I'm going to try and fit all of this in over the next 2 weeks. I'm not sure when I've actually allocated it for. I think it's the third week, but we need that done. Let me just look here. Yep, look, there we go. Fixes to Villa Sequence Mobile. We're going to have to try and move that up. Okay. Search menu. What's this? Ah, okay. Okay. This is our search function. And we got some little fixes to do here. Just some, just a little bit of CSS. But we also need to make one of these for Africa, and we need to make a system so as we can create new search menus like this for new locations. At the moment, we've only got the CMS for adapting this one. We don't have a CMS for making a new one. Okay. Cape Villas, new homepage design, property management systems. I'm hoping we can do the My Booking Pal soon. What am I doing? You can see I put in working on it and working quite a bit on. Sorry, starting from here, there's morning, 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 and then morning and afternoon. I'm hoping we can get it done by this point. Be awesome if we could. Okay, nearly done. Starting the Nitro system. We'll get to that at another point. Social network APIs. Want to try and connect to our magazine to auto post to Facebook and others in the same way WordPress does. And lastly, make page for my list with no properties on it. Yeah, if you go to my list when there's no properties on it, it just shows the footer. We've got to make a thank you page. We've got to make the inquiry divert to my list. So when you finish the inquiry, it uses that information to either go to the list of villas that they've chosen, so showcasing the page, or if they haven't chosen villas, it will go to my list. It will automatically search and some will be provided. When articles are added to my list, they start open. What? I'm not sure what that is. Okay, that's the list here. Let's have a look at it. If we look at this here and we click the first tab, we can see it in this mash of colors. That is actually, there is some synchronization. We can see here where everything's being added. We can see times that I expect it'll take. Right, and here's the day planner where I have taken it from here and added everything in day by day. So just for the first week, we can see fix the header on the layer slider, remake article IDs and lists. Everything's down. And if we go forward, you see I've been very, very precise about this. And we actually go on without a break. Actually, there's a week of catch up here. And we're just continuing. We're just going. You can see here we're trying to get that Nitro second PMS system completed. And we're going up. This is where I've got up to the 14th of July. Okay, so that's a 2-month schedule. And whilst we did something a little bit like this before, it was never in as much detail. I hadn't gone to writing out a whole development list and then translating that list into a short list, and then translating that short list into hours, and then translating that into the date planner. And for this reason, we're really going to try and, stick to plan. The objective is for us to beat what's on this list, so we've got time to add some of the other functions, some things that become priority. We've got time to add the priority items and yet still achieve the list complete by the end of the week. Look, obviously sometimes things, go wrong, but let's try and get more things going right than are going wrong. And I think this is a testament to how much confidence I've got in you guys over the last couple of weeks. And also, maybe a pat on the back to myself for looking this. And it's a little bit because, it's probably quite a lot. I've been reading this book, The Psychology of Sales, and the chap there says, by making yourself a list each day and by listing out your 40 things you want to do, or he says it's top 100 things you want to do, and if we can go on from here and start looking at M systems, we see there's actually more than 100 things I want to do. But now we've got a list of 40 things to do, and we're going to do it. Okay. Cheers, guys. I am going to do a separate video about today's task. Bye.